Hello, everyone, and welcome back to, I guess it's just the annual theme right now, a Mock Draft Monday. This is probably going to be our last duo mock draft before the NFL draft, of where we're both making picks. We'll have a different one altogether soon, but be a little patient on that. I'm joined here with my dad, Tony, and I'm sure he's ready to argue with me for around an hour and 30 minutes, with mainly him taking 30 minutes to pick a Seahawks player.
Except I'm not taking the Seahawks tonight.
I know, but you still take 30 minutes thinking, oh, I like him on Seattle.
Well, that's true.
Okay. So you will be on the clock with the Tennessee Titans. And this is what we think's going to happen. Because if we went with what we would do, this draft would be a little crazy. And a lot of fun, to be fair. But a lot crazy as well.
Absolutely. Well, see, I'm going to stockpile my time for when I have to take a while to take a pick. We're going to go with Cam Ward. I personally think that they should trade out of this position to a team that wants Cam Ward, stockpile draft picks, take, another premier talent that they need, and then utilize those extra picks into next year's draft. But it looks like everybody is of the opinion that Cam Ward is going to be the guy here. So that's who we think they're going to take. So that's who we're going to take.
Yeah, and I understand if, let's say Cam Ward's their fourth best player. I'm just speaking here. And you we really like Abdul Carter, but Cam Ward's quarterback. I get making the pick like that. I don't see it being that close, and I also think they're going to suck next year as well, and they'll be able to pick for a quarterback then, build out this roster a bit more. But hey, it's NFL. Every coach has a different timeline. As we've seen, the Titans' timeline on staff has not been long in recent years. They got rid of Mike Vrabel, who took them to AFC Championship game. I mean, who knows?
All right, so you're on the clock with the Cleveland Browns.
So this has been going back and forth, and I have seen people take Abdul Carter. I've seen people take Travis Hunter. It feels like those are going to be the two picks. It does not feel like Shedeur Sanders is in conversation anymore. So I have to figure out which one of the two I think is the most likely here. And for that, I have to go to betting odds because I have no idea. So I checked betting odds before we did this mock draft tonight. There is one guy who has become clearly the favorite to betting odds, and Vegas does not like to lose money. At minus 300, the pick is Travis Hunter. So I will be taking Travis Hunter second overall, which is very fascinating to me because Abdul Carter falling to third overall kind of blows my mind, but at the same time, I do get it. I just understand the Browns want transcendent talent. He can play both sides of the football. I think you will have to favor one side mainly early on. It sounds like they prefer him at the wide receiver position over cornerback, which will be very fun to watch and see how he progresses in the NFL and if he can do both sides of the ball, because that is a special attraction the NFL world would be lucky to have.
I get where you're coming from, and I understand the betting odds. I still think that the pick there is Abdul Carter. Um, that defensive line would just be so amazingly scary if that was the case, and I would just love to see it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. That being said, the New York Giants are on the clock. Abdul Carter is staring me in the face, and
He is the Vegas favorite for the third pick.
I that's good. And Vegas odds change, and I don't see the Giants passing on a quarterback here. I really don't. To be quite honest, I have been hemming and hawing over the Browns maybe taking it just because in Stefanski's offense, I think Shedeur would be a more than serviceable quarterback. Um, I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders here. I think that they're not going to be able to pass on a quarterback. As you had mentioned before, it's do or die. And I don't think Russ is the option. I really don't. And I don't think Jameis Winston is either.
I think it's do or die, and they would not play a rookie quarterback. I view this pick as they need to get the most pro-ready player, and to me, that's not Shedeur. And Shedeur, I believe, would be the third-string quarterback there. to start out, specifically to start out. And by the time he'd maybe get to play, I couldn't say for certain Dable would be the head coach there. There might be an intern.
Taking a quarterback sometimes gives you a little extra leeway. So
it can, but if you look at their offseason, it screams, F, we don't trust this class to save our ass.
Well, but they tried to bring in other quarterbacks, and the quarterbacks just signed elsewhere. So, I mean, I don't think it was for lack of trying. And so this way you have somebody that technically is there. So,
yeah, I don't see them going quarterback until the second round. I think second round, and if we get to that tonight, I will explain why there in a bit. But here I am at the Patriots. I've been taking one guy consistently, and that's not going to change. It's Will Campbell.
My goodness.
You got to take the best offensive lineman here, and Will Campbell to me is the best offensive lineman. I know people are a little concerned about his shoulders, how he protects, how he just angles them. They're a little bit too closed off. His arm length, I get all that. And I've always said this, if he doesn't work out at tackle, play him at guard. The Patriots need everything on the line.
Well, that is true. So I can see. I look at taking a guard right there as just being too high. So, but
here's the question: would you have taken Zach Martin 4th overall?
At that time, no.
But knowing now how transcendent of a guard he was and how much he did for that Cowboys O-line.
Oh, I can see the argument there now, but that's a crazy, that's
I'm not saying he's Zach Martin. I'm just making
good because that's
there is a guy in this class that reminds me a lot more of Zach Martin on the field than Will Campbell. I'm saying that when you have a guy that's that good an offensive lineman, interiorly, doesn't matter if they're guard or tackle, they can change a line. And if you believe Campbell can do that, take him. That's my argument.
Totally understandable. Jacksonville on the clock right here. And I look at their defensive line, and I would have taken Mason Graham here. They got Walker, and I always say Josh Allen. I know it's Hines Allen now, but they got him. Trayvon Walker, in my opinion, has not lived up to the hype. And with Abdul Carter there, I don't think they could pass on him. I mean, what do you think? I mean, they need interior defensive line. Heck, they need offensive line help too. But if somehow Abdul Carter falls to 5, do you see him getting past that? I don't.
Well, I think there are two things that would happen. One, I actually don't think the Jaguars would take him because
you think they trade down.
I think they trade down, but also even if they were to stay there, I have seen reports that they're in contract. They're trying to extend Walker already. They just picked up his 5th-year option, so it seems like they want to continue the Walker experiment. I think Mason Graham's still the more likely pick here if they were to stay and pick even with this board. And listen, I'm not saying I'd take Graham, and the Jaguars. They have to earn my trust back with some of their picks they've made. I get it's a new regime. It's still the same logo. I can't look past it. It's hard to say you pass up on Abdul Carter, and I get that full throttle. I just don't think they'd make that pick.
I just don't think they could afford to not. To be quite honest, I fully agree that a team like the Panthers or even the Saints or
the Bears,
Chicago, I just said, or Chicago would be trading up.
The 49ers.
You're 100. I mean, come on. At this point in time, who in the next 5-10 picks wouldn't be trying to trade up, right? I mean, he's that transcendent.
To answer
Dallas,
your question, the Falcons. He's an edge rusher.
Well, yeah, that's true. I still don't think that they could pass on him in this instance, so I am still going to draft him there. You can think, trying to extend Walker, he's going to want so much money. So this way you're resetting, you're helping your salary cap, and you get arguably the best player, best prospect in the draft. I always say player instead of prospect.
So here's the funniest part is how many Jaguars fans would be freaking out like, oh dear God, we took Walker over a Michigan guy. Are we doing the same thing again? So here I am at the Raiders, and man, this is interesting because I really think they're going to take Ashton Genty. But you look at the board here, and I know they have Wilkins. Mason Graham, man. Mason Graham's so good, and he does fit the kind of Pete Carroll motto of a run stuffer. He has some really good power rush ability. He has just good hand movement. I've seen some people say, "Oh, he's defensive tackle number 4 in this class." Knock that off. He's not the best athlete, but with what he is, he's a damn good football player. And he does come from I would say an NFL caliber coaching staff, that makes sense, because Harbaugh did recruit him. He developed him the first 2 years. A lot of those coaches are in the NFL now. So I can see that being a big bonus for Mason Graham. But that being said, I can't see the Raiders not taking Ashton Genty. I think the Raiders take Genty here because, for one, they do have a major need at running back. That's without doubt. But they are in win-now mode because Pete Carroll ain't no spring chicken. You just extended Geno Smith, and you look at this offense, it desperately needs a running back because a running back would help alleviate a lot of quarterback pressures. It would help your offensive line, and it would help open up Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers as well. It just would help open up their offense more. And you look at this offensive line, you look at this running back core, and you think what Chip Kelly likes to do, they need an established running back.
Yeah, I still find it hard to believe that a Pete Carroll team would take a running back that high in the draft. But that's just I think that's just from my history with Pete. So
no, you take LJ Collier in the first round.
Funny story about that, but it will be for off air. The Jets are on the clock here. They definitely need players. I mean, they need a quarterback. Unfortunately, there's not a quarterback on the board here. Wide receiver is a sneaky need here. They need offensive line help, interior defensive line help. I think they need, right now they've got Noddy and Quinnen Williams on the inside. And I think of Quinnen Williams with Mason Graham, and I'm not sure they would want to pass that up. Their defense is definitely the stronger side of the ball for them, and if you want to make a strength stronger, if you have those two on the outside, Jermaine Johnson, who has flashes of really good, and Will McDonald, who I was completely wrong on in this, when he came out in the draft. I think that defensive line is absolutely scary.
Can I propose something before you make the pick?
Yeah.
Tyler Warren.
I've thought of that. I really have.
I'm saying this because Justin Fields favors tight ends a bunch. He just does. They are coming from Detroit where they utilize Sam Laporta a whole bunch. And Tyler Warren is kind of a freak. Okay, he is a freak.
Yeah, he's definitely a freak. No, totally get it. I totally get that. I also know that what side of the ball the head coaches favors, and the one thing he really didn't have, in Detroit was that just exponentially dominant defensive line.
Yeah.
And this would give it to him. So Mason Graham.
I'm sure Jets fans would be happy not addressing offense after with what they've watched the past couple of years. Whatever I can to give Jets fans some hell. Carolina Panthers, and I could go a lot of directions here. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a linebacker, honestly. I think this is where we could see a Jahad Campbell going. I am going to stand pat with what I've been saying for like a month now, and I think it's Tet McMillan. I just think he played very well with a smaller quarterback. He knows how to do those little things. He doesn't really go over the middle of the field because the offense of Arizona, that wasn't what they had him do because Nova Fafita, who is smaller than Bryce Young, could not see over the middle of the field. He's a big body. He's easier to spot. Can go up and get contested catches, which is very needed, as we've seen with Bryce Young in the NFL. He may not have the best burn-away speed, but I think he plays faster. He's got good enough route running ability, and he beats press very well. I'd very much be okay with Ted McMillan going here at number 8.
Have you seen the talks that Jackson Dart might go here?
Oh, okay. Can we address this now? Jackson Dart's not going top 10. He might sneak into the end of the first round. This is like would have been 2022. We saw mock drafts pop up when it was Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, top 10 picks. It's not happening. No, and if Dart does get picked, because we may do a second round here, oh boy, do I have something to address on this.
Well, there you go. So the Saints are on the clock. So I think the number one need for the Saints is salary cap easement, but I don't see a button to pick that on PFF. Get to work PFF on that.
Technically, if they voided their pick and it kept on falling, they'd save salary cap money.
They would save salary cap money. I'm not sure that's exactly the best thing for them. So they need help all over the place. Defensive line help, wide receiver help. They definitely need to be replacing, Kamara, soon. They need a quarterback. I mean, there is just a ton of ways we can go here. And so, sorry, cat. So I think right now, best player, in my opinion, I'm not sure if he would go there. I'm going to pick Jihad Campbell here. I was really thinking maybe they could pull the trigger on Membu or somebody like that. But I think to start off with, Membu is going to play guard inside, not tackle to begin with, and I'm not sure if that's the spot where you want to do that right now. So taking Jihad Campbell gives them edge rush help that they need, and it also is going to give them a linebacker, for when they actually need him just to play, linebacker.
Okay. Makes sense. I mean, hey, if you want to check out Jihad Campbell video, it's on this channel, and he may just happen to be going to the Saints in that. So I am picking 10 here with the Bears, and I could go a couple directions. I could see them still taking a tackle here. I think Membu is very possible. I'm sorry, I'm not a Braxton Jones guy. Just not. And I look at this team, I could see defense. I still think cornerbacks is a possibility here. Jahdae Barron. I wouldn't necessarily rule out wide receiver because DJ Moore, I'm still not the biggest guy of, and they did just lose Keenan Allen. So that wouldn't shock me if they maybe went crazy there. Running back here also wouldn't shock me, but I just
hold on. I'm going to guess before you go. Are you going tight end here?
I am.
All right, lucky guess on me.
What tight end?
Tyler Warren.
As much as I thought of it, I'm gonna say no. I think if the Bears draft a tight end, I think it'd be Colston Loveland because he does more blocking. And that's something that very much was ingrained in Detroit. And I don't know if Tyler Warren can block. I think Colston Loveland can eventually at least grow into a good blocking tight end or solid one. I don't know about that with Warren. Warren still reminds me too much of Jimmy Graham. And I think Colston Loveland can do it. He's still a very good receiver. And just give the Bears a bona fide weapon there.
That's higher than I've seen him go, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And I have made it perfectly clear that I think he is the number one tight end in this class. Just my opinion, and so I really like that pick. So far as for Chicago, I don't like it for the fact that he's not where I think he should be. But that's for another story.
You wanted to take him here with the 49ers?
No, I totally didn't. So San Francisco is on the clock, and they need offensive line help all over the place. They need defensive line help as well. They need okay. They need a lot, really. I mean, if you think about it, and that's I trust me. They still have a lot of really, really good players, and I was not being flippant about that. But you definitely need somebody on the opposite side of Nick Bosa to help provide that pressure when their defensive line is firing on all cylinders. I really think it just makes that defense so much better. I'm going to go Mike Green here. I'm not sure that with the depth issues that they've been losing. I think it's Gross Matos on the other side of Nick Bosa. So I'm thinking that's their depth chart right now, and how I don't know if they can pass up on the most explosive edge in this class, prospect wise.
I see that. Yeah. I can't support a team starting Yetur Gross Matos in the year of 2025. I can't. Now here I have the Dallas Cowboys, and this is gonna suck. Because I know what the Cowboys are doing. We all know what they're doing. They're taking a running back. And
so I think if Genty was here, I think it. I mean, I don't know how they could pass on him, but do you really think another running back go? I just don't see it this early. Especially with Dallas, who has too many needs.
Counterpoint: who got flamed in the media for not signing Derrick Henry last year? And Jerry does not like to be criticized. He very much does not. They did not sign a big-time running back this offseason, which led me to thinking they're drafting one high. I'm going to take Omarion Hampton here. I think Hampton's a very talented player. He is a very violent runner. He can bounce off his feet very good. I heard someone compare him to a ballerina, and I can't remember who. But, yeah, it's very apropos because they are very... As elegant as they are to watch, it's very violent on your feet. And that's what Omarion Hampton is. I have concerns with his vision sometimes. I don't think he's going to be the best duo back in the league, but I also just think the Cowboys are going to take a running back at 12. Or it would not shock me at all if they traded up to take Genty. I think that's another big-time possibility.
Yeah, this running back class is so deep. And I know that later on in the first round, Hampton is definitely a viable option. But there's in the second round and the third round, there's gonna be difference-making running backs. So
this should tell you how certain I am on it. I took two running backs top 12.
I know. I can't wait for this to go live so I can save it and play it back with you. The Dolphins are on the clock. We joke a lot because last week I was trying to talk you into taking an offensive lineman, and you didn't. You took a guy that isn't as fast as what he needs to be on the Miami Dolphins. And then, was it 2 days later?
Yeah, 2 days later, Armstead retires. But hey, I can do this to you. What dropped today, the day we're recording this? Tyreek Hill did something stupid again. Now, I saw no criminal charges were filed.
It's alleged, right?
Yes,
so
it's alleged. I saw no criminal charges were filed. That being said, I'm not really going to trust that at this point. With his history speaks for itself. And the Dolphins quote, oh, how juicy that was.
So I missed that. I was in training all day today. That being said, last week in our mock draft, I left a player on the board a couple picks longer than it should have been just because I spaced out and forgot about him. I'm not going to forget about him this week. Armand Boo is going to be the Dolphins' new starting offensive lineman.
Colts. Hey, look who's on the board.
I know.
I pick with the Indianapolis Colts, Will Johnson.
Oh, nice pick. I like that.
Listen, I understand Barron might go, but I can't in my heart do it. Will Johnson's my number one corner in this class. I very much love him. I think he is the best instinctual cornerback. I think he's the best press cornerback. I understand a lot of hype for Travis Hunter. I truly get it. He's a very talented player. I don't get there's not as much love for Will Johnson, and I would really like that to be put a stop to. He's so talented, so instinctual. The way he breaks on the football when he sees it, he truly has the breakaway speed that a wide receiver does, and that's something you can't pass up on.
Did you think about safety or linebacker at all here?
I wish I could say yes, but the talent here outweighs everything else, and I don't think the Colts have a good secondary. And you could say take a safety here. As much as it pains me to say, if this is what we would do, Malachi Starks would be a lot more possible here. At this point, I'm convinced Malachi might fall to the second round.
I don't like to hear that. Well, the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock. And this, tell me if you've heard this one before, they need an edge player.
Falcons fans have to be sick of mock drafts because that's the only position they've really been getting.
Well, I mean, and yet their team still doesn't take one.
Their team is fighting and kicking and screaming.
So, that being said, they could take. They need a wide receiver here, and. So hear me out on this one. Tyler Warren here, kind of a sneaky play. You got to think Pitts just has not lived up to the hype.
Well, here's what I would say: is who did Penix throw to a lot when he came in?
Rome Odunze.
No, he didn't. Rome Odunze is in Chicago.
Oh, I thought. I'm sorry. I thought you were meaning in college.
In college, yeah, he had anyone he could throw to. It was an NFL player.
Yeah.
No, Penix threw to Pitts a lot, and Pitts looked really good with it. And this is really the first time Pitts is having a pocket passing quarterback that's arm isn't dead. And that could be their reasoning to be like, okay, listen, we're going to do this one more time. Let's say it doesn't work out mid-season. We can trade him, get a pick, and also look at next year's tight end class. It's still really good.
And that's totally an option. I'm looking at it going, oh my God, that's talk about throwing a monkey wrench. I mean, we all thought last year, given where they were picking and all of the defensive talent that was on the board,
they literally had every defensive talent on the board.
I know. And so that's why I'm having such a hard time. It's like, we know what they need, and we know everybody knew last year what they were going to do, and they didn't do it.
But you can argue the quarterback position grade edged it out. And it looks like the right bet at this point.
Oh, 100%. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that my gut tells me take edge.
Your trauma tells you don't.
Exactly. But that being said, I'm going to take Ezeraku here. They're going to take an edge in the first round one of these years.
You sound like Packers fans. They're going to take a wide receiver, right? No? Okay.
So I think the Falcons will take an edge in the first round before the Packers take a wide receiver in the first round.
Could you imagine if the exact opposite this year?
Oh, that'd be funny.
uh, Here I am with the Cardinals, and I know with what you've been pining for, you really think they should take Tyler Warren here because he's so big and tall, and Kyler Murray can actually see him.
And they like to play they like to play 2 tight end sets, and he doesn't really throw to wide receivers, so give him another target that he'll throw to.
So I get what you're saying. I can't do it.
Well, I don't want you to do it. I mean, let's be honest.
I watched a lot of Cardinals games last year, unfortunately. And whenever I watched them, I noticed, Jesus, they cannot stop the run. They got bullied by the Seattle Seahawks interior offensive line. Do you know how pathetic that is?
Do we need to really go there? I mean, seriously.
Yes, I'm hammering home my point. And I just can't get past that. So, and hey, maybe they think differently. I do not. I have 2 players in mind here. I think Kenneth Grant is very possible here. I think Walter Nolan is very possible here. I'm going to give the edge to Kenneth Grant because I think he's just more of a Gannon type guy. So I will take Kenneth Grant here. I can see both being very possible. They're both very good run stuffers. I think they can both have good pass rushing ability at the next level. They develop, get an NFL strength program. They work with NFL coaches, refine their skills. I'm just going to give the slight edge to Grant because he fits more of Gannon's archetype.
Fair enough. I mean, I think it's a good move for him. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The Bengals. Defense. I mean, is that how that goes?
They effing better. They don't have enough money to sign any defenders. They paid all their money to 2 wide receivers who are both studs, but they need to draft defense in order for this to work.
So what you're saying is you don't think Luther Burden here's the pick?
I don't think Luther Burden's here's the pick. I don't think Emeka Ibuka here's the pick. I don't think Tyler Warren here's the pick. Oh, wait, hang on. I shouldn't say that because Bengals love offense.
That'd be crazy, though.
Oh, Warren would be fun, but here's the issue. You have to be able to stop a team from scoring 50 as well.
Yeah. No, that's well, I don't know. If they have more weapons, look what they did last year with the weapons they had. You give them another weapon, they still might outscore everybody.
This is coming from you. Are you saying offense is the best way to win football games? Hang on.
No, I'm not. But it worked for them last year.
So are you just going to double down on it?
No, I'm not. I just there are just certain things. There are certain like players in the draft that no matter if they're gonna go to a team, you just think that they would be fun to watch on that team, right?
I highly disagree. It would be fun.
Well, yeah, that's because you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. Burrow with Warren. No.
Yeah. So back to Cincinnati, not gonna take Tyler Warren. I'm torn which part of the defensive line to attack. Walter Nolan here makes a really good. It's pretty reasonable to take that. I also think James Pierce Jr. here would be a good option. They got ran on a lot last year, though. Yeah. So I think we're going to take Walter Nolan. They have to.
So before you make the pick, Trey Hendrickson still might be moved. If you lose him, who the hell is rushing the passer?
The guys you just paid $1 billion to.
Who?
Hey,
they're not rushing.
Hey, everybody says Travis Hunter's going to play two ways. I guess Higgins and Chase are going to start rushing the passer too.
I am picturing them on the field trying to tackle Derrick Henry. So no one's to pick?
Walter Nolan, yeah.
Okay. Uh, yeah, hey, I'm all for seeing that. If you pay that should be a rule. If you pay a player so much money, they have to play a certain amount of defensive snaps in a season. That should be a new rule.
I think it's totally fair.
You're telling me Josh Allen would be fun to watch play safety?
Oh my God. What are you talking about? He could probably play edge.
Yeah. I could just the best part would be watching the quarterbacks not know what to do or watching the fans like, no, don't. Yeah, they need to put that rule in play. Here I am, the Seahawks.
Yes, you are.
Ooh, there's a guy. Okay, there's one guy really calling out to me here. His name's Jedi Barrett. Because I think he'd be fun as hell in a Mike McDonald system. Fun. I like fun. But I can't get past that offensive line. I just can't. This might be my hot take, but after watching through Ohio State games a little bit more in recent weeks, I came to love a player more than I originally did.
Okay, I know who you're picking.
No, you do not. I'm picking Josh Simmons here. Because I believe this is a dude that could play guard if needed, but I also looked at the Seahawks. Can you reliably rely on Abraham Lucas anymore? I don't think you can. And I watched Simmons, and I just think if he didn't have this injury, this guy is probably being discussed higher and going much higher in the draft than originally anticipated. And I can't get past it. He looked so good. He was good in the run game. He was good in the pass game. He was just such a good player. And I looked at the Seahawks who need help on the line. The guy did play some guard in recent and years before he played tackle, so he has experience. Just take the guy and see what he does best and work out with it.
I was wrong.
I knew you were wrong because you thought I was going to take Emeka Ibuka.
No, you were talking about offensive line and Ohio State interior offensive line. I thought you were talking about Donovan Jackson.
Oh, I'm a big Donovan Jackson fan as well. I don't think he goes top 20. Well, I wouldn't hate it. Let's put it like this. I wouldn't hate it. But I think Simmons goes higher than we expect right now. That's one of my predictions for the draft.
Well, I've been on the Simmons bandwagon for all this draft process. I think he's amazing, and if he's fully healthy, arguably he could have been. If he didn't have that injury, he could have been talked about as the first tackle coming off the board, in my opinion, because not only was he really good, but he's got all the measurables that. So that's my opinion on it. Tampa Bay is on the board, right? Need edge, need linebacker, need secondary. Oh man,
they need defense.
They do, and I was 100% sure that I knew who I thought they would take. And I still think, what's that?
And he ain't anymore.
Oh, no. That's okay. I think there's been a lot of talk about Jalen Walker. Can you imagine him? I mean, with as many blitz packages as that they use, with all of his physical abilities, he might get the sacks that he never got in college.
So I'm okay with him taking linebacker. I'm personally hoping Jahad Campbell would be there for them because that's just like a perfect Levante David replacement eventually. Like you watch him, you just kind of think Levante David.
I think I honestly I don't see that. I think Walker is more of a Levante. I think Campbell's a hybrid, scary. Yeah, I don't see that. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'd say Walker is more like Devon than Campbell.
So you're going Jalen Walker here?
Yeah.
So this makes it very interesting for me.
Oh crud! I just realized who I have next.
It's okay. There's no pressure. There's no pressure at all. Don't you dare take Jackson Dart. Uh, here I am. Here I am at pick 20 with the Broncos, and we have had the idea that they should take Luther Burden for how long?
A long time, but with Tyler Warren still sitting there.
Yes. Okay. Yes. He's going to be the pick. Thanks for ruining that.
Sorry.
But the thing with Luther Burden, I wanted to talk about this real quick because Tyler Warren, I've said it all, he'd be perfect. He's Jimmy Graham. He reminds me of Jimmy Graham. Sean Payton, done selling. Now, Luther Burden, I still think should be the pick at 20. Me personally, with what I would do drafting, I have seen a lot of Denver reporters saying they are not in on Burden. And this has not been, smokescreen. This has been all the way back in January. They have said the Broncos are very much not fans of Burden, and I don't get it.
Because his tape is up and down, and beat reporters don't always look at the fact that it might have something to do with
the other players sucking?
Maybe.
The coaches sucking?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Luther Burden has been one of my favorite guys in this class for so long. I will defend him. Even if he goes to the Broncos, I will still defend him.
I think he's in my mind, he's the best prospect in this draft.
Listen, you're picking up the Steelers. If he was on the board and the Steelers took him, I'd be like, sweet. Because I think he would be their best wide receiver in 2 years. And I also think they'd be trading Pickens then, because that's the most logical move after that. But hey.
Well, I think, I have a feeling that he's going to be getting traded anyway, but that's beside the point.
You want to give up pick 18 for it?
No.
Aww.
No. Why? If we only got a second for DK, why would we get?
He's younger.
You're still drunk from the national championship.
I will not confirm or deny that maybe a full bottle of champagne was drank. And some other alcoholic beverages, mainly some Knob Creek whiskey. Delicious stuff, by the way. And Buffalo Trace. Wow. Sorry. I could talk about alcohol for a while.
All right. So the Steelers are on the clock, and they need a quarterback.
You shut up.
They do need a quarterback. They need a running back. Let's face it. I mean, they lost Najee Harris. I don't feel that they would take a running back here. In my head, I just don't see any other running backs going in the draft. And I know in the first round.
There's been talk about one of the Ohio State guys.
Yeah. I think it's just a smokescreen. I really do. One of the best players, one of the best prospects in the draft, in my opinion, is still sitting on the board. Actually, a couple of them.
So I know who you're talking about here. He is a young version of what they have, and that's not a bad thing because they need a second one of those.
I don't see how they could pass up on Jahdae Barron here.
I could see Barron and Starks both here. I know, but I'm going to take Barron. I get it fully. And here's the question: are you going to have him play start out as nickel because they do have Porter and Slay on the outside?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. It makes so much sense for him.
thumper, physical player. He is a Mike Tomlin cornerback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's the thing: he could play outside at one point, and Darius Slay is on a 1-year deal, and he is an older cornerback. Yeah, no, it makes all the sense in the world. And I just had a fun idea. I can't pull the trigger because I said I don't think he goes round 1. At this point, I do not trust teams to be smart and take a safety round 1. How fun would Malachi Starks be with Derwin James?
Oh my God, that could give you goosebumps.
Doesn't that just sound like one of the most fun pairings to see?
100%.
As much as I would like to do that, with how the board has fallen, I think there's a guy they would take here, and that's James Pierce Jr. They cut Joey Bosa. Khalil Mack is no spring chicken. They need edge help. James Pierce Jr. has a lot of good traits. He is a very traitsy player, athletic player, and I would trust Harbaugh to get the most out of him. I think he needs discipline. He needs a coach that will be on him, in my opinion. I think Harbaugh would very much be willing to be on top of him.
Fair enough.
Still, though, if you want to take Malachi Starks, please, Chargers, that'd be so fun.
That would be, yeah, it would be pretty darn interesting, that's for sure.
So here you got the Packers, and you got your number 1 wide receiver on the board.
Yeah. So the Packers right now, there's been so much talk about trying to move Jair Alexander. They're just not happy with him. And Nixon is on the opposite side. And they do take DBs in the first round a lot. That seems to be kind of like one of the things that they do. And Siobhan Ravel, if he wasn't hurt, I think he would be talked about a lot higher than this. They need that secondary help. He's there. And they do kind of come out of left field a lot with their cornerbacks that they draft. So we're going to go with Siobhan Ravel here. And this is the first time that I've taken him in a mock draft in the first round.
Wow. Now imagine Luther Burden with the Vikings receivers. Oh, that'd be fun. But I can't. Because I think they have other pressing issues. Mainly the defense. And I will look at that cornerback room, and I just see a lot of no likey. I am not the highest on this player, but I expect him to go high. He tested very, very well. Good athlete. I think Maxwell Harrison is very possible here, and that's the pick I'm going to make.
Oh, wow. So you like Harrison over Amos at all?
Personally, no. But if we're going with what I think teams will do, I think teams will really love his speed. He has some experience in the SEC. He played at Kentucky. I didn't like a lot of his games there, but when you pay attention with what a lot of people have said about him, they expect NFL teams to be frothing at the mouth over him. You look at the Vikings, and unfortunately, a lot of the top cornerbacks are gone. I think the Vikings would be very possible to trade up for Jedi Barron. Now, I don't know how they would do it, but I think that'd be a very possible route. Malachi Starks there, I could possibly see. Harrison Smith is no spring chicken, but
well, that's when you were talking about secondary help, and I was like, oh my God, to learn a year under him for Starks, as cerebral as Starks is anyway. I thought that would have been really cool.
If I had confidence in teams picking a safety round 1, which over the years I've just lost hope in, so I can't do it, even though I would. If Malachi Starks would not be on this board if we were picking and we thought realistically a team would draft a safety high. He just wouldn't. We love him too much.
100%.
And Harrison's just an athletic, traitsy cornerback in a class that you can be like, hey, this isn't the strongest draft class. Let's take a guy that has a lot of traits. He's very quick, has some length, can do some good stuff. He's not entirely bad. I'm just not his biggest supporter. I take a lot of cornerbacks where I take him here. Just my personal opinion on the matter. I think he goes higher.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So while you were talking, the Houston Texans took Calvin Bank Jr.
Hang on. But do they hate CJ Stroud? Because after this offseason, I'm not certain on that.
Well, he's going to help.
Yeah, but instead of fixing the offensive line, they went, you know what? Let's trade. let's trade our best guy. I could go on, man. I could go a long time on this, but here at the Rams, I can do with whatever I want here, and I'm going to take Luther Burden.
Well, that's actually a pretty intriguing pick, and I'm saying that in a positive way.
So here are my reasons. 1, Devontae Adams is getting up there in age. He is not young. 2, Puka Nacua has had a history of injury issues and has addressed publicly he may not play into his 30s. He may retire before he hits 30. Low cause for concern. The Rams do run a lot of 3 wide receiver options, and Luther Burden would play that slot. He would go directly to do with what Cooper Kupp did. And he is a younger version of Cooper Kupp. I won't say better, because that's a high bar. But you watch Luther Burden, it's hard not to be intrigued with what he could do in that type of offense, especially with Matt Stafford throwing him the football.
No, I think you're 100% right. That would be a very intriguing pick.
Yep.
The Ravens are on the clock, and you just texted me take a punter, but
no. I said take a coach, take a brand new head coach. Use that pick on a new head coach. Get rid of my nightmare.
You know, there's a lot of buzz about Mykel Williams going a lot sooner than this in the draft, right? And
you want to talk about a smoke screen?
Well, but super traitsy, fast, athletic. Sounds like something that the Ravens would be in for. They need edge help. So he's going to be the pick.
I thought you were going to take my guy here. I'm just happy. Okay, I want you to look at the board. Who's a Dan Campbell guy?
Zabel, Scorton.
Gray Zabel. That is a Dan Campbell guy. He would come in, play guard. The Lions just love a mean, nasty offensive lineman. That's Zabel. They need to get younger on the offensive line a little bit in the guard position. He comes in there, has a very good pedigree, comes from a system where it's run the football and trying destroy the opposition. That is Detroit. That is Dan Campbell.
No, that's make your strong offensive line stronger. Totally, that's a great idea.
Terrifying one too.
Well, yeah, I think the Malachi Starks drop, and I call it a drop just because I'm such a high fan. Look at who that head coach is. I don't think Starks is as fast as Earl Thomas, but his cerebral play and how he eliminates portions of the field is a lot like that. And their defense needs that. It's either that, I mean, you could take Eamon Worre, but I just don't like that Cam Chancellor association, even though I don't. He's not Cam Chancellor. So And I think you do him a disservice, and I think you do Cam a disservice. So Malachi Starks to Washington, I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with that. Starks, I hope Starks goes higher, and this is not nothing against you, Washington. I just would like to see the best players get picked higher, and Malachi Starks is one of the best players in this draft. And yeah, here I am with the Bills. I go a couple directions here. I could go wide receiver. I think wide receiver is very possible here. I could see cornerback going here, but man, my take is this guy goes before his teammate. I think he goes actually higher than with where he's at right now. I probably would have taken this guy with the Chargers if James Pierce Jr. was on the board. Nick Scorton. I can't help but feel like Nick Scorton's going to be loved by NFL teams. And I love him as well. So it's a bonus. I watch his film. I just see a guy who's going to be, at the very least, a long-term NFL player. He could possibly develop into something more, I believe. But you watch him, and I think that's a guy that can make it in the league for a good chunk.
No, I like him. All right. So Casey's on the clock, and I mean Matthew Golden, Buka, they'd be pretty good picks here. They need, defensive line help. I've heard a lot of analysts say that they think that Derek Harmon is a lot like Chris Jones. Remember, these are prospects, so be nice. I
No,
like him.
I'm not doing that at Harmon. I'm doing that with the analyst.
Okay, I like Harmon a lot more than you do. So there is that. I really, we know they need offensive line help as well in a really, really bad way. The best, in my opinion, the best offensive lineman on the board is Tyler Booker. They definitely need guard help. And Mahomes is tired of getting somebody coming right up the gut at him. Tyler Booker can mitigate that.
But does he fit Andy Reid?
Oh, I'd say so.
Okay, so that's your pick?
Yeah, Tyler Booker's the pick.
Tyler Booker. And here I am at the last pick of what we're doing. We're only doing one round today. We discussed two. It's a little late at night. We're recording this.
I'm old.
He's old. I had stuff come up. It just happens. So here I am with the Eagles, and I could go a couple directions here. I could easily see them going wide receiver here. Get Emeka Egbuka, Matthew Golden. Have them as a third option. That sounds fun. Shamar Stewart. That sounds pretty fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I went down the board and I looked and I was like, well, I like Landon Jackson. He would be pretty fun. He's a pretty traitsy guy. Braden Swinson is a guy I'm really high on. Donovan Jackson, who we mentioned earlier, I think you could really do something with him at guard. But I just have to do with what Howie Roseman would do. I have to look at the board. Who fell into my lap? I'm going to take Matthew Golden. Because he fell, it's a very Howie Roseman pick. If I was picking here, I think I'd probably go edge, and I would probably, if I had to take a guy, I'd probably take Braden Swinson because I think he'd fit in really well with the Eagles, and I know that's higher than a lot of people would have him. Trust me on that. But Matthew Golden is just an Eagles pick. He's got good traits, he's got some good production, and he is thought of to be a higher ceiling player that just falls into their lap because teams took other needs, they took other players, and the Eagles, of course, swoop in and get a good player.
Well, there's a lot of good players left on the board, right? So, and I really wanted to do a second round, but I'm just not gonna make it tonight.
Yep. No, but that's gonna wrap us up for today. If you like this video, go ahead, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 200 subscribers on this channel by the NFL draft. Share this with your friends. Say, I watched these two idiots argue and debate about draft players. They don't know anything. We can handle it all. We've handled criticism before. And hey, just have a fun time. The draft is nearly upon us. Enjoy it. This is NFL Christmas. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.